Now we're going to reassemble the center diff. You can see I've already placed the Boca bearings, Yellow Seal ceramic. I've inserted the shaft, the output shaft, the outdrive shaft, and we've got the pin already preset to slide right in. You can see it doesn't take a whole lot of it, a whole lot of effort. Now for my center diff, I choose to use 5,000 weight oil. So we're going to put a little dollop on there before we put the bottom gear on. As a matter of fact, before we do that, you can see I've already pre-treated my grub screw, my access screw if you would, with Teflon. Some folks like to use some kind of sealant, some kind of glue or something. I use Teflon. Take it in part of the way. It seems to seal a lot better. It's a lot easier to work with. Pull it away and it breaks free. Some would say that's probably not a good idea. I have not had any bad experiences with it, and it sure as heck stops the leaks. Alright, so we've got the pin set. Looks like it needs a little bit of adjustments, a little off center. There we go. Hey. There we go. So we'll put a drop of 5,000 in there. And then we got some in there. There we go. Bottom of the bottle. We gotta get a new one. Alright, so we've got enough oil on there to lubricate the surface. You can see that pin's changed a little bit. We got to reset it, make sure it's centered up good. One thing you want to make sure is that pin is as centered as you can get it, because it's got to go in that little raceway right there. Instead of struggling with it, nice to get it as close as possible. So you just place it, rotate the outdrive cup, and you can feel the thing set. I don't know if you heard that click, but that gear's in place, ready to go. Now we can fill the reservoir. And again, since this is the center diff, I'm using 5,000 weight. Typically I'll fill that about halfway. Now we bring the gears back into the picture. You'll notice everything's been cleaned up a little bit since our last time around. Alright, so we've got a nice little cross shape. The gears are reassembled. There's little keyways on the plastic. And you get everything set, seated in there, just give it a little nudge with your finger. Pushes it down in. Now you've got oil underneath the gear. That helps eliminate some of the air bubbles that you get when you're doing a diff change out with bearings, and even if you're servicing differentials. I find just putting a bit of oil down at the bottom before you set these gears takes some of the air bubbles out. You don't have to wait as long to close it up. So now what I'll do is I'll top it off. Just barely below the top of the diff body itself. You can see the gears rotating in there. You'll probably see some bubbles. I hope the light's good enough. Just kind of rotate them slowly back and forth. Now I'm out here in my shop, and right now it's about 85 degrees in my shop. So that the oils, regardless of what weight you're working with, the oils become very fluid. So when it comes to air bubbles and such, it doesn't take a whole lot to eliminate them. In this heat, the oil loosens up a little bit. Clean a little bit off the outside. So while those air bubbles are bleeding to the top, I'm going to go ahead and work on the drive gear. In this case, the spur gear. You can see there's a gasket here that's been cleaned. Everything, before I reassemble it, I clean it up as best I can. See a little bit more dirt on there. Best tools you can have in your shop: Q-tips and toothpicks. I cannot emphasize enough: clean the surfaces, clean the areas. Dirt is a differential's worst enemy. See, now I've cleaned this up, and you can see all the dirt that's already come on the thing. Clean the donut raceway. So now we reset the donut. Got another outdrive shaft and cup. In the case of the Z car, in this case the Z10 XBE, the E-Buggy, the inner diameter of the bearing matches the outer diameter of the gear shaft. Seats on there real nice. Slides right into place. The shaft itself, the outdrive cup and shaft, slides right in. The donut, just place it right on there. Again, the little pointed tools. When you got Flintstone fingers like I do, it's nice to have little pointed tools that you can just get everything seated. Grab the other pin. Now this is where it helps having a pair of reading glasses or something, for those of you that are visually impaired like I am. And I don't have my reading glasses on, so I'm just going to go through this blindly. Bear with me. And if you're using a gripped tool, some with knurls or serrations on it, be careful you don't squeeze too tight on these kind of components, because the tool will leave scores and marks on the pin, and it won't slide as easily. Now you can see that's ready to be placed on top. The gasket's in good shape. I've already looked that over. The pin set. We're ready to put it back onto the diff body.